You've probably all seen the eerie costumes of plague doctors, the massive beak, glass eye lenses, and long cloaks. Their appearance instantly evokes something terrifying and dangerous. But few know that these individuals were true heroes of their era. In the 17th century, when the Black Death swept across Europe, it was they who walked the narrow streets of infected cities, striving in any way possible to aid the sick. Back then, no one understood that the plague was spread by fleas and rats. People believed in miasma, or foul air, so the beak of their mask was stuffed with aromatic herbs, lavender, mint, rosemary, and even vinegar. It was thought that this protected them from infection. People feared them just as much as the plague itself. But beneath the masks were ordinary doctors, simply trying to survive. The job of a plague doctor was virtually a death sentence. Most of them weren't even real physicians. Often they were people with no medical training at all, simply hired because no one else would agree to enter the infected districts. Their task wasn't to cure, but to count the bodies, compile lists of the dead, and help the sick die with less agony. They went from house to house through thick fog, the air heavy with the stench of rot, smoke, and vinegar. Bells rang in the streets nearly every hour, another cart of corpses rolling away. Plague doctors knew they would likely soon be among them. Some kept diaries, jotting down final observations, symptoms, buboes, convulsions, the terror in people's eyes. They were paid well, but the money often meant nothing anymore. Many didn't survive a year. They died of the very plague they were trying to stop. Yet despite the fear and death all around, they still walked the streets because they knew, if not them, then no one. In every step, resignation, but also courage. Beneath the mask, not a monster, but a human being who chose to fight the inevitable. Plague doctors no longer exist today, yet their mask serves as a reminder. Fear and hope always walk side by side. They had no vaccines, no knowledge of bacteria. Still, they stepped into the streets while everyone else barred their doors. They were branded madmen, but they were the ones saving lives, at the cost of their own. Perhaps this is the essence of true humanity, not the absence of fear in the face of death, but the choice to remain human in spite of it. Could you live even a single day in their skin, amid the screams of the sick, the stench of death, and perpetual dread, when every touch is a gamble, and every breath might be your last? Plague doctors witnessed what others fled from. They walked straight into the darkness, hoping to save at least one soul. And today, their mask is not merely a symbol of fear, but a testament to those who stood on the threshold between life and death. The treatment was horrific. They bled patients, applied leeches, or cauterized wounds with red-hot iron. Some even fumigated the sick with smoke from burning herbs and animal carcasses. The devout believed only God could halt the plague. If a patient survived, it was hailed as a miracle, not medicine. The doctors themselves would say, "We are merely the hands carrying out heaven's will." But when a patient died during treatment, the physician was often blamed. He might be driven from the city or burned as a servant of death. Yet there were those who truly helped. They recorded symptoms, attempted to isolate the sick, and from this, modern medicine was born. Even Nostradamus himself was a plague doctor. Before becoming the famed seer, he treated victims during outbreaks in France. Unlike the others, he wore no mask and rejected the idea of foul air. He urged people to wash frequently, drink clean water, and burn contaminated clothing. And his methods saved more lives than all the holy rites combined. Science still cannot provide a definitive answer: how humanity survived at all. Given the utter lack of sanitation, the absence of medicines, and the brutal conditions, the plague should have eradicated everyone. Yet perhaps it was precisely those terrifying plague doctors who ensured the world did not vanish. They burned infected bodies, disinfected homes, preventing the disease from spreading further. Or perhaps humanity simply grew stronger, because even in the darkest times, we have always found a way to endure. By various estimates, the Black Death claimed over 200 million lives. But it was precisely in its aftermath that humanity began advancing medicine, hygiene, and science. And perhaps this very horror marked the dawn of a new era,